Hey, it's Jorge from TeamJVS, giving you another TIFF exclusive that we were able to screen and preview. This movie is called Presencias. This is basically all in Spanish. The title translated means presence, but basically it follows a man whose pregnant wife gets murdered, and despite the police investigation, the truth is unknown. He tries to find out what happened, which confronts him with situations of suspense and horror. So this movie was actually a lot better than I was expecting, especially in the horror genre. You think a lot of these themes are kind of played out and all that, but I will say the way that they kind of manipulated some of these scenes and the way that they kind of worked through it was actually done very well. I was super impressed with just how the story kept kind of taking these little like twists and turns where the whole time you're trying to figure out like what's going on and why, like for example, like the town where he's in, why they're acting the way that they are. And sometimes it's just downright creepy. Like there's a couple scenes where he will like leave a place and you just have like 10 people just staring at him, like stop what they're doing in their tracks and just stare at him. So it definitely gives you this suspense, in it for sure. I will say the the end of the movie was definitely very unique in the sense of how it all gets unfolded. I definitely was not expecting it to be the way that it was. That aspect of it was very interesting. But I will say the performances of the cast were done extremely well. There was Paulina, who was kind of like one of the actresses that was helping out. Victor, who's the main character. I thought she did such a great job, and in the few little parts that she was in, she always had a substantial amount of like oomph to her scenes. Manolo, who was Victor's brother, I thought he did very well. His scenes were very short usually, but I thought were very well placed. And then the one guy which I actually enjoyed was actually the like obviously the main character Victor, the way he was acted and the way that Alberto, who's the actor who plays him, like just it was very believable, and it was very like he embodied the role very well, in the sense of like when he was frantic and when he was like going not crazy but just trying to figure out like what happened to his wife and everything, like all the little like hurdles he had to go through. It was very impressive just kind of seeing his tenacity, and you can feel his anguish when he's talking to some of the people, and especially when he's talking to like the local sheriff, how he's like, like, hey, like we need to do something, or like I found this. So I thought that whole aspect was just very unique. The way that I will say, the sheriff and the town kind of acted towards him, I thought that was very, very unique, in the sense of just trying to figure out and put yourself in this position where you have like it's almost like you against the world, and no matter what you say or what you're doing, like no one really believes you, which has to be just like mind-boggling. And just you want to like rip out your hair just trying to just find out something simple as like who killed my wife. But yeah, I will say from start to finish, I will say this movie is very high on the suspense ways and kind of gets you thinking a lot, in terms of like what's going on here. But I will say, yeah, this movie was definitely a very surprising. I will say for those who watch it, it is all in Spanish. They do have subtitles in it, so you'll kind of keep up. But if you understand Spanish, your life will be a lot easier to understand it. But overall, I think I would give this like a solid, 7.5 out of 10. It was just a solid like thriller for me. Which is nice. Like you always like some movies like this, and it wasn't the same old cookie cutter that you expect. There wasn't anything new and like out of this world, but it was done right. The length of the movie was perfect. I know with some of these like thrillers and things like that, sometimes they tend to be a little long. But I thought this one just nailed it, you know. So overall, great movie. I would definitely go check it out if you can. Give it a shot. It is well worth it. But as always, this is Jorge from Team JVS, and we'll see you next time. Peace.